We're here with Andrew Oldknow, Director of Product Creation at TaylorMade. And Andrew, we love when we get to spend time with you because we get to nerd out a little bit and go a little bit deeper than the surface on some of the products, specifically with woods, driver especially. I know everybody is so curious about. And something that you and I have talked about before is the carbon face with TaylorMade's drivers and how unique that is. And every time that we talk, you tell us how passionate everyone at TaylorMade is about carbon being in the face. Why is that? What studies and tests have you done that says that's superior?
It first starts out with speed, right? We're always trying to make faster faces. I mean, it's what we've been trying to do since I got in this golf industry 25 years ago, right? Titanium, we took that for 30 years trying to figure out how to make it faster. We find with the carbon material, like the CT to COR correlations, like the way we test product, the way the USGA RNA tests product, they use what's called characteristic of time, a CT. It's like a little micro hammer striking the material and then seeing how long that stays on the face before it rebounds. So in microseconds, so 257 is the limit. Then COR is a test so the original test is where you fire a golf ball at a sort of freestanding head. Then it rebounds, they both sort of ricochet, it rebounds off. And then an easy way to remember that 0.83 COR is 100 miles an hour coming in, would rebound at 83 miles an hour coming off. And so those are the two tests. Started with COR. It's a very difficult test to repeat. You got to put heads on things, they blow off, and you got to be firing balls through cannons, and you can't really field test it like you can on the USGA. So they've gone to this characteristic of time, which is CT. We find with carbon fiber, we get really good CT numbers and really high COR numbers for the same material. A lot of that's the fact of the way the material moves, right? So the heavier the material, the more it sort of wants to give, where carbon fiber is lighter. It's 4 times lighter than titanium, 8 times lighter than steel. So it's a lighter material, so lighter, faster material, and so we can just do more with it. And we had 30 years of testing experience with titanium. We're now in a 5th generation of carbon fiber, but just know that 10 years previously to that original version, we've been working with material. So technically, we've been working for like 15 years.
Sure.
But we're now at the point where we can really understand how to make it go faster, make it lighter, make it more durable and stronger. So yeah, we're really excited about that. We see really good CT numbers and COR numbers. And the other good thing is the way we make the product. It's such finite layers of material that we're putting together. We've got 60 layers of material there. We're compressing it in a tool. There's no grinding on it like metal you have to grind on and tweak and hand touch. This comes out of a tool. So each one is identical to the last one that came out of the tool. And so we can not only make things quicker and faster and stronger and lighter, but we can also make it more accurate from part to part. So the part that you test with, like let's say you go through a fitting, and the part you buy will be identical to each other, which you just can't do with metal.
Which is important for the consumer at home, because we were talking about this earlier today, that if you think you're getting one face and you get fitted for that club with that face, you might, with different materials, get a completely, in terms of bulge and roll, you might get a different face and it might perform differently. And so the consistency aspect, it's for consistent performance, and we get the same results over and over.
Yeah, it will be different. Not might be different. That's what we see. On average, we see plus or minus, like when we talk a boulder roll, it's like a radius, right? So, we changed the radius to change launch conditions, and we changed radius to minimize or change spin ratios. So gear effect creates a lot of that. So the rounder the face, the tighter the spin, the more the launch variation. The flatter the face, the more launch variation, a spin variation with a flatter face, the tighter launch variation. So we sort of play with two of those things. We find with titanium faces in the past, when we used to use it, as we would see plus or minus 2 to 2.5 inches of roll. So imagine, you get one at one version that you test with, you get fit with, another one's flatter. Now you're seeing completely different launch and spin variations. And we see that all the time with product where it's like, oh, I got fit with this thing. I had this great experience. The numbers looked really good, and I bought the product, I started playing with it, and it just didn't seem to be the same driver. We see that all the time with Ty. With carbon, we control that so much because there's no hand grinding on the part. We're not welding in faces at different angles where we got to add weld beads and then grind it all down. I mean, it's just hard material to keep very consistent. So we're looking at the way, no different than Apple's making iPhones, they're dealing parts and, basically taking the labor out and putting the machine in. we're taking that same level of philosophy and thinking into how we manufacture the products.